I think with how effective Hereditary was when it came out, I think that movie gave the genre a violent shove into a specific direction.
Okay, yeah.
That we're seeing.
Success will also give prominence to copycats and flattery. Absolutely.
I think an argument can be made that besides the gratuitous violence and the fun that comes along with that for some people, a movie like Terrifier is so popular in the genre because it's not this.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Heyo.
You.
Ahoy.
Welcome back, gentlemen. And welcome back,
good.
folks, listeners, viewers, lurkers, creepers. This is episode 149. And it is the first episode of Halloween month, baby. October is here. It's 80 degrees right now, but that doesn't matter. Nature is not gonna fucking ruin this for me. The last couple of days were cool, so that's fine. I don't know why it's hot today, but
autumn is here. The solstice was the 22nd.
Samhain is upon us. And we got
It's been a quick year.
It has. It's actually pretty crazy. I was just saying that the other day. It's crazy how fast the year went.
I've been back in North Carolina for a year now.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Feels like it was just yesterday. You were on your phone, recording with us in the transitory stage.
Yeah. It's actually insane.
We got a whole host of horror movies lined up for this month, gentlemen.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hyped about it. There's two in particular that I'm really excited to watch. And can't wait to get to those. Folks, don't forget you could join our Discord if you want to follow along with the watch schedule and be in the know. Watch along with us. But today is Bring Her Back. This is the sophomore feature from the Philippou brothers. Their first film was Talk to Me.
Oh, these guys.
Yeah. So this is going to be a good one. So stick around for that. Did you guys watch anything interesting this week? Besides the movie?
Did.
Oh.
Well, interesting. Actually, yeah. So me and C watched the movie last night, and then after we watched that, we watched The Woman in the Yard. Have you heard about that one?
I remember seeing the trailer for it when it came out. It looked good, but then it got shitty ratings, right? I think.
Yeah, which I don't really, I guess I don't really know why it got shitty ratings. It was pretty good to me. It was a little rushed. Like it probably could have used another 30 minutes or something.
Was it scary?
Not
problem.
really.
Big problem. It's a big problem.
No, it was more of a psychological thriller though, because it was like kind of dealing with like depression and grief and that sort of thing. So it was scary in that sense. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about later on with Bring Her Back. There's a trend that is occurring, and I'm sick.
I think
of
we're going to disagree about this, so
we might.
This is going to be a good one.
We might. I love disagreeing.
Yeah,
I love it. That's cool. That movie did look good. I wanted to see it, but I don't know.
It was cool. Like people definitely were. I didn't really look at the reviews. I saw that it was like a 5 when I was browsing.
Mm-hmm.
Or was looking at the ratings before we watched it, and I was like, 5 is kind of low, but
I was just having this conversation with another horror movie enthusiast that, and we've talked about it before, and I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy. Nothing really scares me anymore. And I know Dusty feels the same way, and I think you largely feel the same way. Like, I haven't seen a horror movie that's been frightening or scary in a really long time. And now I'm not saying like I'm gonna be like fucking I'm so scared, but like you know what I'm talking about. Like you still watch stuff and you get scared. Hereditary was probably the last movie that really made me like feel uneasy at the very least.
Yeah,
I think it's because real life is scarier than anything a movie could portray.
That is true. And also but Dusty and I have also mentioned, where we feel like almost desensitized to some stuff at this point.
Yeah,
you get there.
Like
and when you've watched enough of it, it's just
right. Did you guys watch the last episode of Peacemaker?
The penultimate,
sure
did. Yeah, it's a good one.
James Gunn is the GOAT. GOAT.
He actually is the GOAT.
Nobody else. It was a great
else.
monologue for him. Like John Cena's character, Chris, is that what it? Yeah.
The conversation of who is the best wrestler turned actor is over. John Cena is showing, unironically, so much range and talent as Peacemaker, aka Chris, aka as Peacemaker.
Yeah,
he's like super impressive. Like this, you know, there was that monologue last episode where, you know, she's like crying and she's like, Chris, I'm a fucking nightmare. Like that was really great from her part, Jennifer Holland. Yeah. And now we've got the one from this episode. I don't want to say any spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched it, but man, what a good show. James Gunn is the GOAT. Like what a gift. I don't know, like
that's great character building. Great character building.
Great character building. But he's
tasteful use of multiverse.
Tasteful use of violence and racism also. You know what? Did you hear about the controversy with Fortnite, by the way?
I saw some. I didn't really understand what was going on with it.
The dance in the beginning. It's him making a swastika with his arms.
Oh, I see. So it
was like foreshadowing that they were going to be on Planet X or whatever it is. And
I thought it was.
I watched the dance like the first.
It was fucking racist.
No.
2 episodes, and then I just speed through it.
So in the dance, he makes almost like a swastika with his arm motions, and they put that dance into your Fortnite. And then everybody was like, whoa, like what the fuck? You guys didn't catch that was a swastika?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But no, the last episode was really good. I'm very excited for the finale. We got something's cooking. And James Gunn has said as much that this is going to directly lead into Man of Tomorrow. So interesting to see what's happening. I'm very curious why what's his name Flag is so obsessed with this portal technology. Dusty, who's more in the DC comic book, that's got to be a boom tube, right? That thing that Chris has.
Yeah, probably.
Boom tubes, Marvin, are in the DC comics. They're devices that allow you to open up wormholes, famously used by Darkseid, who is a huge.
Oh, okay.
He's like the DC Thanos, basically.
Oh shit! So you think that's where we're going?
I don't think that's where we're going yet, because that's where Zack Snyder was going. So I don't think that's what James Gunn would do, but I think he's just planting seeds in terms of hey, this is a thing that you know about.
I mean, we'll definitely go there. It's just a matter of when, really, because I wouldn't put it past James Gunn to have him show up for 5-10 minutes, one scene,
maybe,
and then not come back for a couple movies. But
well, if the Superman saga that he has talked about
we're in Gods and Monsters right now.
We're in Gods and Monsters, but the sub category or the sub thing is the Superman saga. That's the focus, remember?
Yes.
So Superman, Supergirl, Man of Tomorrow, and I think one other project in the quote super family that he mentioned, and it seems like we're getting towards a Brainiac sort of story. So we'll see. Yeah. But James Gunn is really the GOAT. Just nobody else should be allowed to make comic book stuff. What an all-time fumble on Disney's part to fire him and allow him into the arms of DC. But but listen,
I think it's good competition. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic competition. I was just gonna say, he told his story with Guardians. He told it to its finality, which was great. And now he's working on this new stuff. But it's good for us, the fans of comic books, because DC has been woefully done, I guess is to say, poorly done.
So, yeah, I'm excited about crossover possibility too, because he'll make that shit happen if it does.
You never know. But yeah, Peacemaker's been good.
Did you guys see Dwayne Johnson had his lowest opening of his career?
The Smashing Machine?
$6 million.
You know what's crazy?
Why? I forgot. Well,
I don't know. He got a 15-minute standing.
He's like,
He apparently got a 15-minute standing ovation at whatever awards festival they premiered it at. But
damn,
they're talking Oscars. I mean, apparently it's really good, but nobody went and saw it, I guess. Taylor Swift had a 3-day temporary event for her album, and that made like $80 fucking million or something insane.
Well, that's Taylor Swift, so
Swifties.
Marvin's whole life just came unraveled. He's like, what the?
I was just thinking, like, I didn't see a lot of marketing for this, at least not in my algorithm. So
probably part of the problem too.
It's going to be a good movie. This is like going to be good, and he's probably going to be great in it. And the story is actually compelling. It's based on a documentary called The Smashing Machine, which is supposedly really good, especially if you're into combat sports, which I'm not. But that said, this is now, I don't know, this isn't a movie that's going to like blow out the box office. So I don't know if that's fair to even like criticize. Not that you were, Dustin, I'm just saying in general, but because that's what people do. That's like film Twitter bullshit now. It's like, this movie's a failure because it didn't fucking make $30 trillion.
Well, it's funny.
I hate that.
I mean, people will go fucking pay $12 for watch The Rock fucking play some random jackass superhero or whatever.
Well, that's what I was just going to say.
For the 18th time. But like a movie like this, they're like, we're kind of done.
That's what I was just going to say. He seems to be in his transitory phase where he wants to do more serious roles. And he might have a hard time doing that because he is an action star.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope that doesn't dissuade him from continuing to like breach out and do these types of movies instead of
they asked him if he was going to run for president on one of his press tours.
Yeah, I think that's just being coy, though. Nobody thinks he's going to run for president. But we do live in a world where it is possible now. So, I mean, whatever.
Certainly is possible. And I will,
Reagan and
probably
Trump
will win.
Folks, Dusty was a newsman. He used to work in video game journalism. Now he works for us, getting all the news about the entertainment world. What do you got for us this week, Dusty?
Well, we have Hulu becoming the global entertainment brand for Disney Plus outside the U.S. markets. So the standalone app is going to phase out. And integration should happen over the next coming weeks. It'll be replacing the Star Tile, if you know what that is. If you use the software, Hulu will replace the Star Tile and the Disney Plus app.
The Star Tile? What does that mean? Yeah,
they had a tile with a star on it for their other stuff, I guess, their other content that's outside.
I see. So in this picture here, you can see the top. You got your For You page, your Disney Plus exclusive stuff, your Hulu stuff, and your ESPN stuff. I see.
Yeah, so they're going to do software rollouts starting in the next coming weeks where they're going to add a more visual home screen, more intuitive navigation, and more personalized recommendations. But the unified app is supposed to launch next year, so.
Nice. I bet people are clamoring for this.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've been talking a lot.
Better than having multiple apps. That gets annoying.
No, that's true. We've been talking a lot.
The price hikes are also coming in October.
That is true. And that was where I was going to go. We've been talking a lot about these price hikes and predatory practices of streaming services. Turns out more than 1.7 million streaming subscriptions were canceled during Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. That total includes subscriptions from Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Look at this. Woke in 2025 is just fucking LeBron casually dunking or some shit. That's funny.
Yeah, that's at minimum. What is it'd be? If it's $9.99 or whatever it is right now before the price hike, that's a $17 million mistake. And if it's
I'm not good at math, but let's just say 10.
It's a 17. If it's $10, it's a $17 million mistake. But if they're more than that, I think max would be like 27. You could go if they were all $20 subscribers. So you're talking about a $25 million hit.
Yeah, the thing is like $25 million is a lot of money, but
that's a month. That's a month, though.
That's a month. But Disney has that in their couch cushions. Like, let's be honest, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's only accounting for a single month, not.
Yeah.
We don't know how many people reinstate it or whatever their subscription. So
someone in our comments made a really good point I wanted to actually bring up. On our last one of our shorts that we posted about the price hikes, they said This is a YouTube user. I don't know how to pronounce that. Villinai. So shout out to that person dropping hot knowledge. They said, while some people will leave, Disney likely ran the numbers and concluded that the revenue gained from higher paying customers is greater than the revenue lost from cancellations, and that many who threaten to leave don't actually follow through, or they will come back when a new show drops. The, quote, mass exodus narrative tends to be louder online than in actual practice. Corporations do things motivated by profit, and if they were genuinely concerned with leaving customers, they wouldn't raise prices. That's some fucking facts, honestly.
Yeah, and generally I would agree with it wholeheartedly, but I think this particular instance is a little bit different in that you had an executive, Bob Iger, and whoever else was up there with him, do this on their own without letting the board of directors know what was going on. The price hike,
you mean? Or firing Jimmy Kimmel?
Firing Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, right, because they're...
I mean, you're talking about... Yeah. But yeah, so you said they reportedly lost 1.7 million subscribers. But the Jimmy Kimmel fallout is not over. Apparently, the shareholders have some lawyers on their side. Roberta Kaplan was speaking on behalf of the stakeholders. She is one of many representing Disney shareholders, the American Federation of Teachers, the AFL-CIO, and Reporters Without Borders. The board and executives may have breached their fiduciary duties of loyalty, care, and good faith, and they reserve the rights to initiate an action compelling such production and to pursue all available remedies. Senior executives are responsible for significant declines. They took a $4 billion fall in the stock market. So
after Jimmy Kimmel got fired,
it wasn't just the 20 to 25 million that they may have lost in subscriber numbers. They took a $4 billion hit in the stock market. Yeah,
that's the important part.
Yeah. Shareholders are not happy about that. I can bet.
Right. So yeah, they were given 100%. On September 24th. The C-suite executives were asked for the books and records over possible improper political or affiliate considerations for inspection and copying, and they were given 5 days to comply. This was a little over a week ago. There's no news yet on what is happening, but Bob Iger is in the fucking hot seat for this shit because it's not over.
Okay. Do we think any of these people actually give a fuck? Probably not, right? Like, as long as they're making... Bob Iger's fucking probably one of the richest people alive.
Yeah, but if he fired or pulled Kimmel just as a political fucking favor or something,
which it was,
and the shareholders are like, "Hey, you lost us billions of dollars." Like,
yeah,
we could see some shake up there at Disney. Some shit could go down. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We got Constantine 2 update from the man himself, Keanu Reeves. He was in a Fandango interview on a press tour for Good Fortune, the movie that was made forever ago and is just now coming out. He was asked about Constantine 2, though, and said, fingers crossed, another draft of the script came in. We're going to take it to the studio, and hopefully they like it, too. So we'll see where we go from there. But moving along,
Marvin,
still in pre-production.
I know I've asked you before, but excuse me, have you seen Constantine, the first one?
Yes, love Constantine. Yep.
Great movie.
It is great. I was reading the comic as well a little bit, which I need to get back into.
Hellblazer?
Yeah. That shit is the truth.
Arguably one of the best pre-MCU movies. Right before the MCU came in and sort of like redefined the comic book movie genre. I think Constantine is one of the better of those. I think it's definitely within the top 5. At least it's in my top 5.
For sure.
You get Donner, Superman, you get the Batmans that existed before the MCU, sure.
Yeah.
But like
Michael Keaton.
Blade.
But like true comic book movies,
absolutely.
Blade and this are neck and neck in my book.
Yeah.
And honestly,
and they're both in the same realm, kind of like dark magic-esque, gritty, rated R. What's Constantine? Is Constantine rated R?
Movie?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we need rated R comic book movies back.
And you know who's giving them to us?
Yep.
The GOAT.
Mr. Gunn.
John Cena. Mr. Gunn. Mr. Gunn is giving it to us. Yeah, this was rated R.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie. And Constantine himself is just a great character. And that's evident because the show Constantine was fucking awesome and it got canceled way too soon.
Oh, it was good, yeah.
Ended on a brutal cliffhanger that I'll never know the outcome of. There's
a couple of animated films that are pretty good too.
The gender swapped Constantine in the first season of Sandman was an awesome episode.
Also really good. Yeah.
Constantine is just a dope character.
He's a sick character. Yeah.
So
I agree.
Hopefully we get more of it.
You haven't watched the second season, have you?
I have not yet.
Okay.
It's the last season because he's a fucking weirdo. So why was it not good? You got a little smirk on your face.
No, she was in it again.
Oh, she's back. Okay, that's exciting.
Oh, nice.
Okay. All right. Well, please, comic book movie gods, let us get a Constantine sequel, please.
And don't Matrix for it.
Don't Matrix for it, even though I've never seen that.
Last thing Keanu was in fucking, or I should say the last reboot or whatever you want to call it was fucking.
Marvin, he's pissed. It's his favorite movie, folks. He's got it right.
We've made it, Marvin. We are standing at the dawn of a new category. AI-powered celebrity IP. Jokoa's, I think that's how you pronounce it. Jokoa's mission is to shape it, own it, and set the creative standard. Just as the 20th century was defined by the rise of film stars and pop icons, we believe the 21st will be defined by synthetic talent, said Eileen van der Velden, CEO of Particle 6, which is an AI production studio, is now launching Jokoa, an AI talent studio.
These people...
AI talent. Yeah. Is that a fucking joke?
This is an effort to create, manage, and monetize a new generation of hyper-real digital stars for use in everything from film and TV production to podcast, TikTok, YouTube, brand campaigns, and video games, as well as interactions with fans.
Listen, there are people...
Thanks, VTubers.
That's better than this. That's actually creative. That's people. That's art. People actually do that.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Sorry, I take it back.
Take it back. Fair. There are people,
but it's like a gateway drug. Like
it is a gateway.
You know, when they used to smoke weed and like, hey, be careful.
You'll be
what comes next.
You'll be doing heroin next.
Crack.
Yeah, I mean, we could make AI versions of ourselves and have it watch all our old stuff, and it could probably have it watch movies and do our show for us going forward.
Well, the other thing that came out side by side with
crazy.
The other thing that came out side by side with this that's very problematic is Sora, that new OpenAI project that is like people are just making like full episodes of South Park and shit, and it's like indistinguishable from the original. And listen, here's the thing. I'm just
remember
gonna say
the Ghibli thing too.
Yeah, the Sora thing is worse than that.
Right.
There are people walking this earth that just need to be shot into the sun. Like, we need more people going. We need more billionaires going into submarines to explore the depths of the ocean. We need them exploring space. We need them gone because they are literally bringing the world to ruin. Okay, across the board in every conceivable way. News just came out this week that I don't remember the exact number, but like the operating energy costs of OpenAI's facilities will cost as much as like, not price wise, like energy use as much as like running San Diego and like Manhattan and stuff. Like,
yes,
people were like,
everybody's bills are going up.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's bills are going up because they're building all these super fucking AI farms everywhere and they're using all the electricity.
We're burning forests down like with every fucking prompt into ChatGPT that people are doing because they can't fucking Google. It's really scary, really bad. But the scariest thing is all these tech billionaires, these fucking ghouls, these creatures, they are arguing. This might be a dusty argument. I don't know. It might align with your politics a little bit, but they are arguing that copyright shouldn't exist. But these guys want to do it because they want to just fucking copy shit that people have made and pump it into their dumbass fucking AI.
Yes.
And have them spit it out without any repercussions.
There are several lawsuits going on against AI companies from the big studios.
And the good thing is that I think the world collectively is like pretty overwhelmingly hostile towards AI. It almost feels desperate the way that they are pushing it onto the general public. Like, we talked about it before. It's in everything now. It's like every website has AI. Every browser has a built-in AI. Every fucking company.
You can't get a smartphone without the fucking AI.
Can't get a smartphone without AI. Every company you call has AI assistants. Like, it's just, it's almost like, you know, it's like they invented a solution to a problem that didn't exist. Like, well, we didn't need
There are some interesting things that they're using it for. Several Hollywood stars who wish to appear on screen as a younger version or current version of themselves are collaborating with the studio to bring, and they're also collaborating with the States to bring legendary performers back to the big screen while offering studios a new way to reimagine and exploit existing IP.
I can't imagine. Again, I think most people are pretty hostile towards this. I've seen several actors speak out against it. I've seen several studios speak out of it. The Screen Actors Guild spoke out about it. Like, this is just something that nobody asked for. This is something that nobody wants. And I think we just have to like OpenAI is like hemorrhaging money. Really, like, they're not profitable at all.
Good.
I think I read it like a couple weeks back. None of the AI companies are profitable as far as I'm aware. So, like, they're trying to get people to widely adopt it and nobody wants to. And I think this is going to have an effect of, I think I mentioned it a couple months or weeks ago, but I don't remember, but this might have like a rubber band effect where, like, we're pulling. It's just going to snap back. And I think we're going to arrive back somewhere in the early 2000s of, like, social media and just brick and mortar stores and, like, things like that. Like, this has got to there's no way it can continue. And the end.
We're always in a bubble somewhere.
Well, right. And I was just going to say, and the supposed bubble that AI is causing is like tenfold what the .com bubble was, what the 2008 housing market bubble was. Like, this is like, we're already in a recession.
That one was pretty fucking big.
This is really bad. And they're like arguing. They're like, this is art. Like, no, it's fucking not.
Well, I mean, you could like digitize and bring back a Michael Jackson performance or a Martin Luther King speech.
Nobody wants that. That's disrespectful.
President Bush dodging a shoe getting thrown at him.
The final thing I'll say about this is that it's very interesting to me that all these billionaires and stuff, they have infinite money, they have infinite power, they could do whatever they want, they could literally end homelessness tomorrow like that if they wanted to. But what they choose to do with their time, power, and money is to create teen female actors to do whatever the fuck that they want them to do. So think of that what you will. I think that's fucking bizarre and weird. So
yeah,
that's my take on it.
All right, well, we got the Philippou brothers. They actually have a new unnamed project in the works. They were on the Boo Crew podcast a little while back.
Boo Crew.
Yeah. Quote, I'm writing another horror movie at the moment, which I adore so much, and it feels like it's huge. So there's that. And then I think would be Talk to Me Too when asking about future projects from these guys. Obviously, Talk to Me Too is in pre-production. They say we have 2 versions of the script for Talk to Me. They are focusing on 2 different sets of characters that are in 2 different places. I'm equally excited about both. There's one scene in one of them that I think will be one of the best things that I ever shoot. So,
that's a bold claim.
Yeah, Talk to Me Too has 2 different scripts, and then I guess they're going to flip a coin to see which one, because it's 2 completely different characters. I thought that was a little bit wild. But, yeah. We watched Talk to Me 1. It had a 7.2 when we reviewed it. I think Dan gave it a 6.5 and Marvin gave it a 6.5 or a 7. I gave it a 7.
You went back to check our ratings?
Yeah.
Wow. It's good journalism. Big journalism right there.
It's gone down to a 7.1, the original, but it's still up there. It's a 7, so it's one we didn't love, but we didn't hate.
No, I think Talk to Me was okay. Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. It was just okay.
Okay. Well, they're still writing horror. These guys are not going to move to Hollywood. They love the Australian life, so we're gonna get some more movies from these guys, and we're here to talk about one of them. So that's all the news I have.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you for the news, Dusty. We appreciate it as always. Let's get into this week's review, folks. That is Bring Her Back. Horror right now is obsessed with grief, it would seem. Every new movie seems to circle the same trauma cycles. They're dressed up as supernatural metaphors. Bring Her Back is, of course, no exception. But here's the thing. It proves the Philippou brothers aren't one-hit wonders. But it also proves exactly what I've been saying recently, and that is modern horror has sort of trapped itself in this like one emotional gear. And I think that's becoming a big problem. So let's talk about it. So this is, of course, written and directed by the Philippou brothers, Danny and Michael. This is their sophomore follow-up to Talk to Me. And I think before that, they were, YouTubers, right? I think is their sort of backstory.
Yeah.
YouTube movies or like?
I think they did like
shorts?
I think they did like high production value, like videos is what it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got started doing YouTube videos in Australia.
Yeah, they are Australian. And Talk to Me was a big hit. It was a big hit for A24.
Raka Shaka was, I think, one of the...
It's something like that. Something bizarre and weird. But yeah, so Talk to Me was a big hit for them. It was a big hit for A24. A big hit in the horror community. We watched it, like Dusty was saying. It has a 7.1 still right now. I think Marvin and I rated it a little bit lower. Dusty, you rated it a little bit higher. But it was okay. It was just all right. But we're starting to see this trend play out, and I think that's something that I really wanted to focus on here. But this movie, Bring Her Back, is about two siblings, Andy and what's her name? Piper. And who just whispered that? That freaked me the fuck out.
Me.
Oh shit, you weren't on my screen when you did that. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. They are step siblings. The movie opens up. Their father dies in the shower, and they get sent off to live with a foster parent. After a brief little fear of being separated, Andy argues for them to stay together, and they get sent to stay with Laura, who's played by Sally Hawkins, and she's from Lady in the Water, I believe.
Yeah.
And she's got another child that she is fostering, Oliver, who is mute and doesn't speak and just stares and eats cats and shit. So that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie. And it turns out that Laura is not as she seems, as one could guess. And we get some crazy shit that plays out. And this movie is just about grief. That's what it's about. It's a movie about grief with like supernatural, what's even the word I'm looking for? It's got supernatural like representation elements. Like the supernatural stuff that's playing out in this movie is symbolic for the grief that our characters are dealing with. And this trope at this point is pervasive in like every fucking modern horror movie now. We see it in all of them, and that's why when we watched Weapons, I had kind of framed that conversation around the fact like, this is a return to classic horror that is just horror for the sake of horror. Like, oh, we have a fucking witch who's just doing weird shit, or Barbarian, we have a mutant inbred creature living in this basement, like that like, think again, classic horror. Friday the 13th, the mother of a dead guy who got fucking who wasn't being watched and cared for by his caretakers is seeking revenge. Oh, part 2 is now the fucking kid is back from the dead and killing. Halloween, just this fucking guy who broke out of a mental institution. Who is he? Supernatural? Not sure. Kind of, probably. Like, just we don't like. Horror has always had messages for sure and deeper meanings and themes, but it's starting to become a trend where it's like that is the sole fucking purpose of the movie, and I personally don't think that is a good thing. But in terms of this movie, let's get into it. Marvin, kick it off. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, no, I actually thought this was good. I enjoyed this more than Talk to Me, I would say. Speaking on like horror being obsessed with grief. I mean, grief is scary, right? Like,
sure is, yeah.
It's also easy to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it earlier that you're talking about how movies just aren't, some of the modern movies just aren't really scary. And I was just saying that, like, real life is scarier, right? So this could be why maybe that Hollywood is choosing to lean into this angle to make some like relatable horror-based movies.
That's fair. It seems to me almost a little bit like you get like these two angles of fear, right? It's like either jump scares, which we all agree are cheap and overused, or now the grief thing, right? And it's like, yes, that is scary, but I think it's something that's being like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it just feels like it's being overplayed on. What about you, Dusty? Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a compelling movie. Interesting. It gave you little bits and pieces all the way through it. As far as the grief thing, I mean, I don't know if it's a matter of just like the directors that can touch well on it to tell the story well are getting more shots at making these types of movies, or if that's just like I don't know, is it a byproduct of a generation coming to terms with like,
maybe,
we had some grief, but I don't know. It's always been in horror movies for as long you can go back. There's some horror movies that are about grief.
Oh, totally.
But as far as like the pervasiveness of it, maybe I don't know for sure. But this was a good movie. It was well acted, well cast, interesting story.
Yeah, I think for me, I enjoyed it too. Actually, maybe you guys thought I was going to hate it. I actually really enjoyed it. It's just that I thought the first act of the movie was a little bit weak to me. I actually wrote it down in my notes. Like I was full on lounging watching this. I had to like get up to actually write it because it annoyed me so much. It was like like the movie was 90 minutes roughly, and it was like at the 40-minute mark, 38 minutes. So around the 40-minute mark that like actually things started happening. I thought the first act of the movie was very, very needlessly slow, like relentlessly slow. And I understand they were trying to do character development and set up
or character misdirection.
Yeah, misdirection. I don't think there was any real misdirection, to be honest. Like, I think pretty quickly I was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening. Which is another thing that bothered me. The cold open, like, kind of just sold the whole movie, really.
Yeah, but I mean, these movies typically only end in two ways. Like, we see this successful completion of whatever fucking weird ass seance that this person is trying to do in this said movie. They complete it and things go terribly wrong, or there's some sort of like fluke and like side effect or something. And then it gets even weirder from there. Or they don't complete this seance that they're trying to do. And you're like, it leaves you wondering, what if, you know, but then you like, it's a predictable outcome in the movie, but I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, the first act is them, like, again, you're establishing the characters. You see that they are the step brother and sister, and you know, Piper, she's partially blind. She can only see colors and she can only see like shapes. Light and shapes and stuff like that. And you know, you see her trying to fit in with some girls around town, and they kind of make fun of her. Okay, Big Brother shows up. He's like, you know, he takes care of her. They love each other. They have their secret code word, grapefruit, to let them.
He's the shameful protector.
Yeah. And then, you know, very quickly that they've discovered their dad died in the shower. They get sent off to the foster home.
It's weird.
We meet Laura. She's, you know, we run into them. She's weird right from the get-go. She's a little too welcoming. And, you know, she mentions that she had a daughter who was also blind. And she died, she drowned. And so, boom, now we're set off. We meet Oliver, who's, again, mute, weird. But this didn't need 40 minutes to set up. Like, that was, the first act was just very, very slow to me.
Yeah, it was.
And then you start to get into the weird shit, that's where the atmosphere kind of, like, really jumps into high gear. And you get that, like, I have it in my notes, like this oppressive, grief-soaked atmosphere, and that's kind of really how it feels. Like you actually feel very sad for Laura, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but her performance, Sally Hawkins, was like generational in my opinion. Like one of the best performances in a movie I think I've ever seen. Like even though she's doing like very malicious fucking manipulative shit throughout the movie and you hate her, you really actually kind of end up feeling for her at some point. At least I did. But I think the movie does get a lot of good atmosphere with some genuinely uneasy moments. I think some of the unease is cheap in that it's just like gore and like painful things that you kind of like, oh,
flesh ripping and tearing and eating. Yeah.
Biting down on a fucking giant knife.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
That was the word. Yeah. Eating the knife.
That one had me really grimacing
and
badly.
Eating the table.
Yeah, his teeth were breaking. Like, that was crazy.
But I did think the movie did a really good job of building tension. I think it did a really good job of establishing what was going on and then paying it off at the end, which a lot of times you don't see in horror movies. A lot of times horror movies fail to stick the landing. I think this one did that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, like, it's a horror movie, so you always question the decision-making of the people in the film. You're like, don't be that stupid. But you do kind of wonder, like, how did this lady get these kids? How did that even happen? Like,
there was actually...
Well,
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. I was just going to say, she was in the system for 20 plus years.
Yeah, she was a pro.
Yeah, but she's got the kid. I don't know how she was in the system for that long, and she randomly got the kid that went missing that she needed to.
Well, he went missing because of her. She
set it all up. Yeah.
Right. Yes, and you wouldn't notice that she has another kid when you go to.
I agree with you. I know.
Look at the place.
I know what you're trying to say. Nobody really like the woman. There was a lot of stupidity that happened. The woman the foster woman, not Laura, but the actual like person who like
the inspections would have shown lady. The boy. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that they didn't inspect it. They just blindly trusted her because she worked there for 20 years, and she says as much. So, because he storms in later on, he's like, "Didn't you even fucking like look into her?" She's like, "Well, no, she worked here forever. Like, why the fuck?"
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stupidity that went on because, and I agree with you, because that would never happen, like legally. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they do things differently in Australia, but just because a woman worked there doesn't mean, that they would just blindly trust her. Also, we don't know how she got the kid. I'll just forget getting the kid.
Okay.
I just mean becoming a foster parent.
Okay, sure.
Like, do we really believe
that?
We
were talking about Oliver still.
No. I just mean in general. Like, do we really believe?
Connor.
What's his name? Connor Bird. Yeah.
Do we really believe that a woman who lost her daughter recently would be given foster parent privileges? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So,
but there has to be like it's not.
No, I know.
If
well, but that could have just not been. They could have just not made her part of the system. She could have just been a foster mother. They could have very easily changed that plot around a little bit. Again, little gripe. That's a dusty gripe.
Sure.
And I mean,
that is definitely a dusty gripe.
Well,
there has to be some dumb things to allow for the movie to have a plot, right? Otherwise,
absolutely.
She'd apparently been watching the VHS for a while because she knew exactly what to do when things happened.
Well, the opening of the movie,
because she kept her daughter who had in a drowning accident. Yeah. Well, I better freeze her because now I can save her because I've been watching this VHS tape over and over and I know what it means.
That was another thing that bothered me a little bit because the opening of the movie is us watching the tape of the ritual taking place elsewhere.
The Russians. And
at first, when the movie opens, I thought we were watching, like I thought we were there, like watching the ritual take place in real time. We're not. It's actually, turns out it's just Laura watching it.
Yeah.
So
it's like instructions.
Yeah, but I'm saying she was watching it at the start of the movie too.
Yep.
That opening scene is her watching it. We just don't see her. So yes, Dusty's right. She's been watching this tape for a long time. But I don't know. It's just a weird. It's just weird. I don't know. The timing of it was weird.
It is weird. Yeah,
Dusty gripes.
The thing that bothered me.
Dusty gripes happening right here, guys.
The thing that bothered me the most was this. They really established the connection between brother and sister, and their grapefruit code, and how they're there for each other. They're I just don't buy the fact. And the movie didn't execute this well, and also I just wouldn't buy it, even if it executed it perfectly, that she would suddenly be overtaken by this woman's charm and gaslighting, that she would just not trust her brother.
Brother first, absolutely. That was a bad choice of character. Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but none of that is to say the movie was bad. These are just little things that I think could have been done a little bit smarter, because
I said it was compelling, so it was.
Yeah, and the tension building was effective. The manipulation tactics that Laura was implying,
she was the worst.
Applying, were
it was
good and effective, and it made those things stronger. But
I mean, I thought she was warm hand in the water at first, like the first time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, she's just dumping piss on him.
That was insane.
Disgusting.
Yeah. So I think some of the while they are Dusty gripes, for those of you who don't know Dusty gripes, Dusty, Mr. Man over there in the hoodie, he attacks very small logical things in movies. We call it a Dusty gripe. And while Dusty gripes are small, I think in this case it hindered the movie a little bit when a lot of the stuff is very ambiguous and not explained, but in a bad way, when it actually is like pretty central to the plot. Like, I kind of want to have a little bit of an idea more than what the movie gave. And then what happens here is that the third act of the movie, if not done right, it's risky because that whole third act might not land. In this case, it did. So whatever. What I'm saying is moot. But that's what could happen if it's like either you, and it happens a lot in horror movies. You get the up, and then it just tapers off, or it fucking plummets. This actually, I think, in my opinion, stuck the landing.
Yeah, it did.
So, yeah, I think it's a good movie, but I think overall it does prove that genre problem that I think exists. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's just a me problem. I want to talk about it a little bit further. If every horror movie is about grief, well, where does that leave the rest of the genre? We're starting to lose some of those things that we saw in Weapons recently, which is why I liked Weapons so much. Weapons was more of a thriller than it is a horror, but it has the same elements of classic horror that I think are sorely missing, and this does not. So I don't know. Do you guys agree with me in that we're seeing and it's this elevated horror?
Are we just seeing it in movies that we decide to watch more? Because there was the Trap House movie that we watched is it just that the other ones that aren't about grief not that good?
I would argue that every mainstream horror movie that comes out now has the same Salt Bay shit. Like, it has the same ingredients, right? So we got this movie. Talk to Me was about grief. Smile 1 and 2 are about grief and addiction and those things. Together was not really about grief, but it was also about that
codependency
and anxiety.
Those are different enough though. Like, I don't think you can fairly put those together.
What's the one with Demi Moore? What was that one?
Shoot.
That one was not about grief. That was more about that one's more about
self-image, anxiety, all the same. These
self-immolation, basically.
These elevated horror movies that we're getting as the mainstream horror, these A24 horror has become the mainstream horror. Yeah, they started this whole elevated horror trend. Like, I would argue, Hereditary could be argued was maybe one of the first in modern times to do that. So now that's all we're seeing is not just grief. It's it's just trauma in general, right? Is the central themes of these, whether it be couple trauma, psychological trauma, depression, anxiety, grief, mourning, loss. Like it's all the same thing. Every one of these movies. So you're saying
you want more supernatural and less like reality of it? Because
no,
I mean, people who are going through grief are it's a more believable tendency that they would have to do anything to bring that person back, or to do that one thing, to say one more time hello. Like, that is a strong storytelling point.
It is.
And I get that you're saying that it's overused, and I kind of agree with you in that I see a trend in it. I don't know if I'm in overused mode yet, but I understand what you're saying. Like, it's being used a lot.
What these movies do is that they explore premises and themes in both the plots and the story of these movies that could go either way, really, truthfully. Like, if you actually looked at the movie, you could be like, well, this is really happening, or it's not really happening. It's either supernatural, or it's just these people all collectively suffering some sort of thing. Obviously, this movie, like, they skirt the bounds of, like, being literal. Whereas if you look at older horror movies, or like, let's say, Weapons recently, that happened. There's no question. It was like this town was invaded by a fucking witch, and she was fucking doing weird shit. Like, that happened.
I don't think this movie. I think this movie falls into the weapons category then, because
like
so? This clearly happens. Like, the police show up.
No, it did. That's what I'm saying.
People died.
I don't mean like super literally did it happen or not. I'm saying like it's effective storytelling in that both things are true at the same time. It is a movie about grief. The subtext of it. Yeah. It's a story about grief and loss. And it is also a movie about this weird ritual that manifests a demon in the body of some random person who eats the body of a dead person and pukes it up into a body of another host to resurrect the dead person in a new body. Like, that also is true. Whereas a movie like Weapons is just about a witch coming to a town. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is a woman who believes, well, she obviously believes it because it's working. She stumbled upon something sometime, somewhere. We don't really get an explanation. We don't need to. Like, how did she get the VHS tape? Because it sounds like when she was talking to the lady, the cop or the inspection lady at the end, she's like, we talked about the thing and we thought the thing, like, so maybe it's a video that others have seen or that some of them have talked about before. Did you guys catch that?
I did not, actually. No. You're talking about the scene where she's like screaming in the hallway, like with the...
when she's trying to explain herself, she pulls the gun and she's trying to explain herself. She says something, and I have to go back and listen to it or read the fucking the script or whatever to see what she says. But yeah,
to add clarity, Marvin, I think what I'm trying to say is that if you look at older horror movies like Friday the 13th, that's a movie that the subtext is about like teen sex, like teens just being like fucking whatever, irresponsible and fucking and doing drugs and all this stuff. That's the subtext.
The sin of it, yeah.
But it's not the whole focus of the movie, right? The movie is very much about just a killer in a fucking hockey mask. Halloween, similar. Friday the 13th, similar. Like Friday the 13th, teen anxieties, this, that, the other thing. But there's subtext. This is like about trauma. You know what I mean? It's about that thing. And I think what I'm trying to say is like...
Well, but this is about a lot of different kinds of trauma. It's not just about grief and,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying these modern movies, they're overwhelmingly about what used to be subtext, is my thing. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, listen, it might just be a me thing. That's totally fine. I see it. I'm noticing a trend, and it's like, I don't know, I'm losing those like old school horror appeals that I really like. But again, it could just be a me thing. These movies are obviously popular, and I did enjoy this again. But
you see a grief trend, Marvin?
There's definitely a grief. Well,
trauma trend.
I think there's just like a trauma or like human emotion trend. Like, just because, like I said, it's it's relatable, and it's definitely easier to do than coming up with something like Halloween or something like where it's just like this random event seemingly with no type of real
purpose.
Yeah.
The Thing is also a great example. Look at The Thing or Alien. These are just situations that are happening. There's no real deeper meanings or tones or anything to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say it's just like a shift, because back then it seems like those were more of what was happening, like just random events. Mm-hmm. And now it's more like emotion based or like
that's exactly
whatever,
what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's fine. It's just a shift, right? Like that was the focus then. This is the shift now.
Yeah.
Let's see what the future brings, really. Because I'm enjoying these. I think this is good. And like with this one, I liked that Laura wasn't like some cult leader. She was just like a grieving mother trying to bring her daughter back. Like she wasn't like a supreme mastermind witch that was like doing this regularly. She was really fucking around because she didn't know what else to do.
Yes.
So,
her daughter drowned. She had seen the video and decided, oh my gosh, I'm going to try this transfer thing and see if it works because my daughter just drowned.
So
freezes her body, snatches a boy. She's seemingly seeing it come together because the boy's in the trance from all the circles and the rubbing and the witchcraft.
The rubbing.
So she stumbles her way through it and it's working. And so she believes it. But then at the end, it culminates in her like losing control of everything. But
yeah. Real quick, just to address the weird timing of it all, you're right. She must have seen the video prior to her daughter dying because she was prepared for this. Like your daughter died and then you just insta-freeze the body. It must mean you knew about this ritual existing prior.
Yeah.
So yeah, that didn't come across that well, but that's fine. None of these things ruin the movie for me. That's the most important thing. I did enjoy the movie. I did enjoy the world, let's talk about some of the, some of the actual like strengths and weaknesses of the movie. Like it was a strong story. I thought I got a little choked up, in the end there when she discovers her brother died. So it emotionally it worked. Tough. It worked on me. I didn't really find it very scary, but that's very rare these days.
No,
But the tension worked. I thought the little kid, Oliver, Jonah Wren Phillips played Oliver. He was great. Fucking creepy as hell. I liked I liked the imagery where you get little glimpses of the demon inside of him.
The angel, get it right.
The angel,
the angel. The one that stood out to me was when he was outside in the rain.
Yeah,
it was like horns.
Yeah, and that was cool.
That was a good one. Yeah.
So yeah, it did a lot of really effective stuff. The acting in this movie I thought was brilliant.
Yes,
Sally Hawkins absolutely dominated this movie. She was great. I think the movie hinges on her performance, and she fucking knocked it out of the park. Playing that grieving mother, and that's why, Dusty, you were shaking your head no that you didn't feel for her by the end of it. I did. I mean, I felt really bad, like, because Marvin just nailed it. She was a grieving mother who didn't know what to do. Like she was just in pain. She wasn't a bad person. I mean, she was doing terrible things.
It wasn't like she was like I said, she wasn't like a actual witch that's done this 10 times or whatever, right? Like
I can
for what we see is the first time doing this.
Yeah, she's a little sloppy. This is her first time.
Well, and I can empathize with her pain. I cannot relate to her taking the steps she took to try and
we're not saying it justifies it. We're just saying you can you can empathize with
I can empathize with her pain, but what she did was inexcusable. So
no, that's fair.
I still didn't feel sorry for her at all. Like evil woman.
Yeah. So overall, like I said, I think it was a very strong movie. A little slow to start, but it ended strong, came around. Personally, I think it's a good example of why the genre feels a little stuck, at least for me right now, in sort of this one mode. And it was started by Hereditary, so you could be in worse company. Like go ahead.
I wouldn't. So you're talking about elevated horror. I wouldn't even me personally, I wouldn't consider this elevated horror because it's not like that deep. It doesn't seem like it's that deep at all.
No, I mean, none of them are deep, but that's what would be considered elevated horror, like exploring these emotional themes, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Whereas
I wouldn't say it's like on the level of Hereditary, where to me, that's like actually elevated horror. It's
a little lighter than that. Like that movie is more about like generational familial trauma and stuff like that. But in the same vein, Saint Maud similarly.
Okay.
I would say elevated horror, is just exploring like the depths of human emotion, really. And like that's the true horror. Like the true horror of this movie is not the demon thing. It's losing your loved ones, losing your child, losing your brother, losing your dad, losing your parent. That's the horror of this movie. That's what elevated horror means to me, is when the horror itself is a deeper thing than just like Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy. You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Well, that's something I was going to say. We would have to go back and actually look, because you're talking about like, there's some great movies you're bringing up that aren't really necessarily based on the trauma or the grief. They're just happening. But you're talking about some of the best classics. Like,
I know.
It's Halloween. But if we went back and we looked at like how many horror movies were released and how many of them touched on grief back then, it would paint a little bit different picture. Like if we had a heat map of it, I think like there's as many
it's there
back then. So, so I guess in closing, me saying, I don't know that it's pervasive. It's just something.
I think
maybe we're just watching more of those movies right now.
I think with how effective Hereditary was when it came out, I think that movie gave the genre a violent shove into a specific direction.
Okay, yeah.
That we're seeing.
Success will also give prominence to copycats and flattery. Absolutely.
I think an argument can be made that besides the gratuitous violence and the fun that comes along with that for some people, a movie like Terrifier is so popular in the genre because it's not this.
Yeah,
sure.
It's just a fucking dude dressed as a clown who's fucking slaughtering people. And it's silly, right?
Reasonable conclusion. Yeah.
You go back in time, a movie like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? One of the greatest horror movies ever made. Why is that movie so good and effective? It's fucking gritty. It's grainy. It looks like shit. The acting is bad. It has a fucking documentary like feel to it. People back then thought it was based on a real thing. Like it's
not bad.
It's a
Blair Witch.
It's a Blair Witch. It's a grimy fucking movie. But in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What am I from Boston? In Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There is no deeper theme. It's just fucking kids getting slaughtered by some hillbillies. So like, that's what I'm talking about. Again, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I am starting to see a lot of sameness in the genre, and that's just I don't know.
I'm just saying we'd have to go back and look.
I agree with you. We should do the research.
Trends happen, so maybe it was
do happen.
It was vacant for a while and it's coming back. So I don't necessarily agree with you. I see
that's fair.
I see a trend, but pervasive. I'm not there yet.
Okay, all right.
I think I would agree with that. With Dusty's take.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. I think horror needs to diversify again. I think we're getting some one-note movies at this point in the genre. We got a bunch of new movies to watch this month, so we'll see what happens. I tried to vary it with what subgenres we're exploring. We got one that's like found footage that I'm real excited to watch. It looks good. It's called Strange Harvest, folks. Make sure you're there for that one. But yeah. So I don't think the Philippous are one-hit wonders. Clearly they know how to make a good movie. Both movies were strong. They're good storytellers. They're compelling stories. At least they got good horror imagery. They're good at making you feel uncomfortable. Well acted movies. Well acted, very well acted. That can't be understated. Sally Hawkins, she crushed it.
Yeah, she killed it. Yeah, I agree.
I thought the stepbrother did a great job too.
He did, yeah, definitely did, and so did Piper. Like they were all really good.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's our take on. Well, that's Dusty and Marvin gave their opinions. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. Are we a little stuck in the horror genre, or what? Are we cool with this, like trauma-based horror, or do we want to go back to a little bit of a broader spectrum of horror movies? And Dusty, you also might be right. There are probably a lot of movies that are like Shudder exclusives that we just don't watch. That might be that, but like again, I was trying to focus on more like the mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on with this movie specifically?
So are we working under the assumption that the stepbrother made her blind? Like when I
thought about that.
Comes to terms with what he did. He said, I hit her back in the day. I got mad. Like, did he do that to her?
I thought about that.
And that's why his dad hated him.
Yeah, I thought about it. It was kind of it was a fleeting moment in my brain, so I don't know if that was an effective like plot detail for me. Where they definitely raised the question for sure, but I didn't think about it for more than like 1 second.
Yeah, I was about the same. Just wanted to raise it. Other than that, no.
That was the biggest weakness of the movie for me personally, is that whole story thread didn't really hit for me. Like I didn't like his dad hit him and all this stuff. Like, okay, that sucks. But no, it does like that. But that wasn't the central point of the story. The central point of the story was Laura and her trauma.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yep.
But it has a 7.2 on IMDb. People are loving it. There's a lot of good ratings on it. It's good on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm right there. I would give it a 7.
Yeah. I'm about the same, 7.
Okay.
Yeah, 7.5.
Okay. Marvin gives a little bit of a bump.
Yeah. I think
fair enough.
The Philippou brothers make a compelling movie that I would recommend watching. I don't know how memorable they'll be, but maybe probably rewatch them a little bit later down the road.
I would recommend this one too. I thought it was strong enough to get my recommendation. So there you have it, folks. Go watch Bring Her Back if you're in the mood for a spooky movie for October and haven't seen it. If you have seen it, leave a comment. Let us know. Like I said, do you think this is a continuation in a stale genre trope or not? I'm open to having my mind changed. So leave a comment. Let us know. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Next week, we will be back with... what are we watching next week? Let's check the schedule. As my dogs go crazy. Next week, we're watching The Ugly Stepsister. That was one that I was excited for. So,
okay, yeah.
If you want to be in the know, join our Discord. It's free. We post.
This one is not rated.
Ooh. We post our schedule. We post trailers and stuff that we generally talk about in the episodes, but if you want to get up to date with that stuff, join the Discord. Leave a like on the video. We appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we will catch you next week. Thanks for hanging out.
Awesome.